Tandem Nomads, episode 239. Growing exposure and growing your email list should be in your top priorities if you want to consistently attract new clients. Now, this might not always be easy in figuring out how to do that, so I'll share with you 7 ways you can grow your email list and grow your exposure. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great insights and tips to grow a successful portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Teregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. Thank you for being here today. I'm delighted to welcome you. And I am excited to talk about this topic that actually is not as sexy as you might want it to be. I know that a lot of people try to avoid this important topic, and yet I'm here to share with you the importance of growing your email list and how to do it. In fact, getting exposure, but also being in touch directly with your ideal clients by having their contacts is super important because that is the only thing you control in your relationship with your audience. If you rely on social media, this is a great place to grow, but it's definitely not a place where you control that relationship because all these social media platforms can change the rules anytime and you could lose all that hard work that you've done in growing your audience. So for you to secure that audience, you need to make sure that they sign up to your email list. Now, in the previous episode 237, I shared with you 10 great ideas of how you can offer something for free in order to make people want to sign up to your email list and to your newsletter. So I highly recommend you to check it out, and it is in the show notes of this episode. I will link it. But also, I've prepared for you a workbook with a ton of ideas and examples of other freebies that you could get inspired by. So make sure to download it with this episode in the show notes. So go to tandemnomads.com/239 and you will find all these great resources. So now that you know that it's important to grow your email list, if you want to be able to control your revenue, it is important to then look at how you can then make people actually see you and want to download your freebies. So once you have your freebie, in this episode, I'm going to share with you how you can gain exposure. And when you do that, make sure that people sign up to your email list. So I'm going to share with you 7 ways you can do that. But before I go there, I want to insist on one important thing. When you gain exposure, when you are in front of potential clients, when in front of your audience, or when you create content, you might have this temptation to send people to different places where they can go to have information. Or you could simply tell them, go to my website to have more information. Or you can tell them, go to my social media to get more information. So this is obviously a great way to show them where they can connect with you. However, there's one thing you need to know is that people's attention span and ability to remember things is very small. So for you to increase your chances for people to take action when they see you and when they get to know you, to follow up with you, is to only give them one main call to action to take. So this is also something that I really want you to understand. It's really important. So if you're in a promotion and you are promoting a product, obviously you want to send them straight to the offer and make it easy to find that offer. For example, create an easy link to remember so that people can go directly to it. The easier you make it for people to find your resources, the better results and conversion you will get. So keep it simple and easy. So when you're not on a promotion phase, then your only main call to action should always be growing your email list and sending your audience to your free resources and to the place where they can sign up to your newsletter. This is really important. However, I often see solo entrepreneurs sending people to their newsletters or on their website putting, go sign up to my newsletter. So know that people don't sign up to a newsletter for the sake of signing up to a newsletter. You do want to tell them to sign up to your newsletter, but the main call to action should be about what is the problem you're addressing and how you're helping them with your free resource to solve it. So this is really the best way to make people really want to connect with you, sign up to your newsletter, because they know what you can do for them and what are the great free resources you have for them. All right? So the big message here is whatever you do and whatever all these 7 ways I'm going to share with you is to always keep in mind to have one call to action, one link and one place to send your audience to. It is your free lead magnet. And if, again, you're not familiar with what is a free lead magnet, then make sure to listen to the episode that I linked in the show notes where I explain you what is a lead magnet, why it's important to do it, and what are the different ways you can create a free resource that people can download. So check that out. All right, now I'm going to share with you all the different ways once you have created that lead magnet, how can you make sure that people see it, know about it, and sign up to it? So the first thing is your content. By that, I mean your website. If you're a blogger, your blog. If you're a podcaster, your podcast. Or if you are a YouTuber or you make videos, in your video. So all your places where you have content on your website and your regular weekly content, you want to mention that lead magnet for free. Just like I did in this episode, I told you about my 10 irresistible lead magnet ideas that you can download. And if you have been listening to Tandem Nomads podcast, there's always something for free that I offer in most of my episodes. So this is what you want to do. You want to focus on always linking your content, no matter what type of content it is, with the lead magnet. You also want to put it straight in the homepage of your website so that people can take action right away. There's only a few minutes, 1 to 3 minutes max, that people spend on a website. So if they should only take one action, it should be downloading your lead magnet. So make sure that it is on top of your homepage and it's easy to access and gives very clear information of what is the value that you're giving for free so that people download it. Side note, if you don't have yet a website or you feel like your website is not effectively doing that, I will link in the show notes of this episode another episode that I have where I offer you some templates of how you could design your homepage in order to do that. So make sure to go to the show notes of this episode and check out that episode where I share with you how you can design your website effectively, and everything is designed around making sure to position your lead magnet in the right place. All right. So number 1, through all your own content, make sure that the call to action is always your lead magnet. Insert it in your blog, mention it in your videos or your podcast, as well on your website. Second way to gain exposure and grow your email list is your social media. So when you have a free content, you obviously want to promote your content on your platforms of social media. But I also encourage you to create a visual and a specific post that actually talks about that free resource that you have. You want to sell it as well. You want to talk about what is the problem you solve with that free resource and what will they get when they download it. So again, invite people to sign up to the newsletter, but the first main information is the value you give them. Remember, it's always about serving your audience first. So use your social media on a regular basis to promote your lead magnet. The third way to grow exposure and grow your email list is networking. So you might not think about it, but when you go to networking events or speaking events, what I saw a lot of people, especially in the times a lot of people used to meet on live, would be to take the business card and then to automatically add people's content to your newsletter or not do anything about it, which is even worse. Please don't do that. This is one of the things that I highly recommend you to avoid. There is nothing more annoying than meeting somebody, you give them your contact, and then you add them automatically to the newsletter and start receiving very impersonal messages etc. So what I recommend you to do is, first of all, to make sure that you are following up with people you're connecting with, whether it is at a event, be it offline or online, or whether is it through social media or common connections. No matter how you meet with people, first of all, always be interested rather than trying to be interesting. Make sure that you focus on them first, their needs, who they are, and getting to know them and figuring out how you can serve them beyond just your business. This is really important. But the other thing is to also follow up with people you meet and then offer them the free resources you have that you think can help them with a specific challenge they might have that you think they have expressed or that you have noticed along the conversation. Be very specific. So what I would invite you to do is to follow up either in person, by text, or by email, and send them the link of that free resource you have and tell them, here is it, download it. And when you download it, make sure to tick the box to sign up to the newsletter. And I will share with you some great insight on XYZ every week, for example. So come from a perspective of who you're talking to and how you can serve them with the free resources you have. For example, if I went, it happened to me a few times. I don't remember a specific example, but I'm just going to make this up. For example, if you went to an event or met with somebody who's saying that they're working on building their website, they don't have a website yet, then I will say, hey, this is exciting. I'm really excited for you. I have a free episode on that. If you want, here is it. Send the episode. And I also have some templates for you. In that episode, you can download it so that it can help you figure out the important elements to consider when you build your website. And then you follow up with them, say, hey, how is it going? Happy to give you some feedback if I can help, etc. So make it personal and don't add people right away to your email list. Please don't do that without their consent. This will really be disruptive in that relationship and the trust. All right, so this was the third way to gain exposure and grow your email list. The fourth way, so this one is not very common, but I do think it's worth considering, which is referrals and strategic partnerships. So strategic partnerships and referrals is when you know somebody, a partner, or someone who has access to your ideal audience and who could promote that for you because either they want to or they have an interest to do so. So I could make a whole episode on strategic partnerships, but all you need to know is that whenever you have a common interest with another person who has different services or products than you, but addresses the same person, you can offer them to cross-promote each other's businesses. And when you do that, the only call to action that you should focus on again should be inviting people to sign up to that email list. And you can actually create a specific form when the partner is big enough or that the partnership is strong enough. What you can do is create a specific form inside your email marketing tool where you can tag the subscribers with the name of the partner so that you know how many people did that partner bring to you. So that's another thing you could do. And you could go to the extent where you can give back a percentage to that partner whenever that subscriber ends up buying a product or service from you. So working with close partnerships can really be helpful for you to grow exposure in general and grow your email list. I'm going to give you a very typical example. Let's say you are a yoga instructor, and as a yoga instructor, you might know somebody who sells essential oils. So you could put a partnership with your friend or colleague who is in essential oils, and you can say, hey, if you send people to me, here's the link you should give them, my free video on the 5 movements you could do every morning. And you could do the same vice versa to them, the 5 essential oils that are interesting to improve your breathing or your muscle pain, etc. So this is a way where you can promote each other, cross-promote each other and support each other while growing your exposure, but also making it tangible with growing your email list of contacts. So this was the 4th way you could grow exposure and your email list. Now, number 5 is speaking engagements. So when you speak, you're invited to do a webinar, or you're invited to speak on a stage, or you're just interviewed in a video or something like that. The only one call to action you should focus to send people to is, again, your lead magnet. your freebie, your free resources, the simple, rememberable link that you can send people to so that they download your freebie whenever they want to take action after you've spoken or during your speaking engagement. This is also another way for you to do that. And by the way, I might have mentioned that many times today in terms of making the link where you send people easy to remember. Maybe I should share with you an example. For example, whenever I speak, I talk most of the time of my 3C system of how to grow the foundations of a successful portable business. And those 3 pillars, I actually have a free workbook where I send people to so that they can have actually some notes of that speaking engagement and examples, exercises, and lots of resources. It's almost like an ebook. So when I speak, I make it easy for people to find it by simply sending them to one link that's easy to remember, which is tandemnomads.com/3C. You see, it's very simple. It's just like with every episode when I have a special freebie for you, I would always put the slash and the number of that episode so that it's easy to find and to remember. And now strategy number 6, it's PR. So whenever you get exposure in the media, be it through a podcast interview, a blog interview, a magazine. So this one is not always 100% possible because especially if you're talking to journalists, this might not always be 100% welcomed, but whenever you have the opportunity, you can simply ask, can I send people to a link if they need more information, and give them some free resources to get them started with whatever you do. So if this person who's giving you exposure doesn't mind, then simply make sure to give them that link so that they can put it there. So whenever you have exposure through media, you also capture those leads of people who want to know more about what you have to offer. In fact, so often it's really hard to track the conversion of press and media. So the best way to do that is to actually offer something for free so that you know when you're interviewed in different places, how many of them actually lead to something tangible for you. And the best way to track that is by providing a downloadable freebie that people can download, and therefore you will know how many people took action after that interview, for instance. All right, and now last but not least is 7th way to get exposure is paid advertising. So I typically I'm all about organic growth in general, but I do think that paid advertising on Facebook or Instagram can be a way if you have a bit of budget and you know how to do it and either have yourself the skills or know the right people to do it for you. It could be really a great way to fast track your email growth and your exposure. The only downside of paid advertising is that you need to warm up your audience so much more. When people come to you through organic ways, usually they had a few touch points with you. So by the time they come to your newsletter base, they are already familiar with you. And when you do it through paid advertising, you need to be really cautious and very proactive at the way you communicate with those who sign up to your email list so that you can warm them up. So whenever you do a paid advertising, I'd highly recommend you to actually follow up whenever people download a freebie, to follow up with a series of emails that help people get to know you better before you send them your general newsletter. As I said, having full 100% strangers come from paid advertising can actually lead to more unsubscriptions very quickly if you don't warm them up. So paid advertising are worth it, but you need to be very proactive at making sure to warm them up. One other thing I always recommend my clients is that if you choose to go with paid advertising, I actually always, especially if you're selling services, I would always encourage to actually promote something for free rather than a paid product, because it's much easier, first of all, to get people to sign up when it's free. But also once you get them in your email list, then you can do that work indeed of warming up before you start selling a product or a service. So that's also another advantages of selling your lead magnet through paid advertising. All right, so these were the 7 ways for you to grow exposure and grow your email list so that you can grow your potential of having more consistently new clients in your business. The first one was through your content. The second was through your social media. The third, through networking. The fourth, referrals and strategic partnerships. The fifth, speaking engagements. The sixth, PR. And seventh, paid advertising. So I hope this was very helpful for you, and I hope you really take action on this. But Nomad Nation, you might ask me, how am I going to find all these places where I can gain exposure? For example, in terms of networking, referrals, speaking engagements, PR, etc. So how can you find all the places where you can do that? So for that, I have another whole episode. And if you know me by now, you know that one of the best ways for you to have this information is by running a market research. So I actually have a whole episode where I take you step by step through the process of doing this market research, and I teach you how to find these places. And I even give you a template Excel sheet of how to organize that information and therefore knowing what to look for. So make sure to go to the show notes of this episode, and I will link that episode there as well. You will find it on tandemnomads.com/239. And if you don't have a lead magnet yet or don't know yet 100% what you should put in it, make sure to download your 10 lead magnet irresistible ideas that I've put in that show note, as well as the episode where I explain more about what is a lead magnet and why it's important to have one. All right, Nomad Nation, remember one thing before I say goodbye is that the sooner you start doing this, the sooner you have a really irresistible lead magnet and promote it consistently in different ways, the more chances you have of growing your business rapidly. Your business opportunities are directly linked to the size of your email list and to the exposure you get outside of your own audience. So take action, Nomad Nation. Do this on a consistent base. And if you have any questions, find me in the website, in the show notes of this episode, or you can as well find me on Instagram. Feel free to DM me. Simply search for Tandem Nomads on Instagram. Thank you, Nomad Nation. I can't wait to meet you in the next episode, and stay tuned to turn your challenges into great opportunities.